Hey guys, Dr. Stan here. And today I was talking to a patient. A patient came in and excuse me. She said she was pretty sore and that she feels like she's really off. And we measured, and her leg was 1.5 inches short. I said, holy cow! What did you do? And she said, well, I was in a minor car accident about 2 weeks ago, and her husband said, you should go get checked. And she said, oh, I'm fine. And she said, but this stuff, she goes, it's been going on for the last 2 weeks and it's not going away. So I want to talk to you about that phrase, a minor car accident. Well, it's ironic that I'm driving and doing a video about car accidents, so yeah, fingers crossed. But 2 hands are on the wheel. So I'm going to talk about a minor car accident. There's really no such thing as a minor car accident. Even at a slow speed. There was a Crash Institute, I believe, in San Diego that put out this video. It was a while ago. This high-speed video of controlled car accidents. But the speeds they used was the speed that could be generated by people pushing the car into certain specific setup barriers. So the driver knew they were coming, and the average speed was 6 miles an hour. And the amount of force that the person would go through in their head and neck was tremendous. And so we don't think about how much force, how much mass is being moved when you're in the inside of a car. And when that stops that quickly, well, your body is the next thing that keeps moving. And if your head gets whipped around and it knocks this off of balance, a lot of things can happen. For instance, one of the big things that happen is your head gets misaligned. And a big thing is cerebral spinal fluid. Cerebral spinal fluid is produced in your brain. And then it's the fluid that your brain and your spinal cord float in. And so every time your heart beats, blood goes up into the cranial vault. It creates a circulation of the CSF, the cerebral spinal fluid, from around the brain, down around the spinal cord, and back up to around the brain. And it's a circulation that happens. And it's your brain's way of getting rid of its metabolic waste. From the cellular activity that happens, there's a metabolic waste. And this circulation of cerebral spinal fluid is basically how your brain gets rid of that waste. Well, whenever you have this misalignment that's in there, it can act a bit like a cork to that cerebral spinal fluid flow. And so what happens is when this acts like a cork, now pressure builds up in her head. It creates a pressure of cerebral spinal fluid, an increased intracranial pressure that a lot of times people don't think too much about. Next thing you know, they start getting headaches. They've got brain fog. They can't think clearly. A lot of people will say that it feels like their brain is working in mud. They can't get from here to here. The words just can't get from there to there. And so it's a really common thing that when someone comes in and say they've got headaches, they've got migraines, when you ask about past history, a lot of them have a history of some type of car accident. And in patients with Meniere's disease, if you have the ring in the ears, the vertigo, the fullness in the ear, the vast majority of them have a history of some type of car accident. Even if it's a minor one, that minor accident is enough to whip the head around to cause this misalignment in there. And you may not notice it right away. It may be 6 months down the road. It may be a year down the road. It may be 2 or 3, 4 years down the road before you start to notice something. You may have forgotten about this accident, But that puts that seed in there. That puts that first little injury, that little seed that starts to grow and get bigger and get bigger. And next thing you know, someone starts getting migraines out of the blue and they say, I don't know where they came from. I just started getting them. I've never had them before in my life. And when you trace it back, you can oftentimes trace it back to some type of car accident that had happened, even a minor car accident. And so when someone says, you know, it was just a minor car accident, nothing too much happened. Well, there's no such thing as a minor car accident. I hope that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, feel free to give me a call or leave a comment. Sure to subscribe. We put out videos pretty regularly, so hope everything is going well for you guys, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.